Hello, my name is Vicky Manitou Okas, and today I am going to do a voiceover of a recording that I did planting the gardens for the Container Garden Challenge. And for some reason, the sound did not get recorded that day. So I'm going to play the video and explain what is going on with a voiceover. But anyway, thank you and welcome. Thank you for joining me. So let's get started. Um, so, when the previous to this in the challenge, we have talked about the goals, we've talked about the containers, we've talked about the space, we've talked about the soil, and we've talked about the plants. So in this video, we're going to put all the pieces together into some tiny gardens to grow so that I can grow inside uh, vegetables for greens year round. So this is the first time that I've tried to grow greens uh, for winter garden. Most of the time, I grow herbs. Um, but so this will be an experiment for me in a location that has very, very little indoor light. So, the point being, um, don't let the challenges stop you. Try it anyway and see what you come up with. All right, so now what I'm going to do is play the video and we'll talk about what's going on in the video. Okay, there we go. And there. Okay, now what we've got is a basket that I have grown the. I got a basket and a plant tray that I bought, and I've got soil in the basket, and I've also have a coffee can that I put the a pair of jeans, put it inside of a pair of jeans and trimmed it down so that it looks like a nice little pot. Okay, that's filled with nice potting soil. Okay, and then you put the lid underneath it to keep it water and from dripping water where I don't want it. But if you tip that over, okay, in the bottom, you see I took a nail and I punched some holes in the bottom of that to give that good drainage for the plants. So this is just a commercial potting soil, and later we're going to uh, add some nutrients to that with some compost tea or maybe some grass and weeds and make the tea. So that'll help give the plants some nutrients. So, and I've got outside, I put the soil in the pot and got that nice and damp and moist and let it drain out so that it would be evenly moist. Okay. And then we've got the basket has got nice drainage in it. So I have my propagation tray where I have put some cuttings, and this cutting is a nice little rosemary. It's got beautiful little roots on it. It's ready to be planted. Okay. And then I'm also so that is my accent plant. And I'm also going to be planting some greens in there. So I've got a microgreens mix that I purchased. Okay. Just an inexpensive mix to experiment with. So I'm going to start by planting the microgreens. And most of the microgreen seeds need just a little bit of light to germinate. Okay, so I'm going to plant that quite densely throughout the basket because I will be trimming that out later. Thin that out so I'll have some nice little tiny greens, and then I'll let some of it grow up a little bit bigger. Okay. Get good press it down, get good soil contact. Just stir it around just a little bit because I want good soil contact, but I also want it to be the seeds to be exposed to the light, but they do need to stay moist. Okay. With the microgreens planted, I'm going to choose a spot to plant the rosemary. Okay. And that was started in the sand propagation tray. So dig a little hole and very carefully and gently place the rosemary cutting in the hole so that you don't damage the roots from the soil down around it. Okay, and that soil is already moist, but I will probably give that another little bit of water later. And then the microgreens will grow up around it. When the microgreens start, I'll trim them away from the rosemary to give it some space and thin out the plants. And I think I want a little bit more variety in this planting in this little container. So even though it's very densely planted, I'm going to add just a little bit of cilantro just to give a little bit of variety to the mix. Just a little. Push those down, get good soil contact. And that one is ready to put back outside so that it will to germinate. And when cold weather comes, I'll bring it in and uh, give it a little bit of some time inside when it gets cold. All right. Now set this aside and we're going to work on the next tray. This is a end of the season tray that I picked up at a Dollar General store, and it is a cell pack for starting transplants. But this is peat moss. Yeah, I'm going to use some rainwater to wet this down, and I try to water my plants with rainwater because most city water is got chemicals in it that are very damaging to plants. And realistically, this should have been soaked up ahead of time because, as you can see, peat moss has a tendency to repel water when it's dry, and this is not soaking the water up today. Okay, so this is a chance to see some of the challenges that you can come up with when you with your tiny gardens and some of the materials. And honestly, I didn't even think about it. I should have had this out in the rain for a couple of days so that it could soak up the water and be nice and ready to plant, and I didn't do it. So now we've got to let that soak up. Set that aside. See if that'll soak up for in a few minutes. Okay, go to the coffee can. And in the coffee can, I'm going to, now I've got some bay cuttings there, so I'm going to check a bay and see if one of the bays is ready to plant. But bay is a little bit temperamental. We'll check and see. Okay. When I take plants out of the propagation tray, I always loosen them up with, I've just got a plastic knife that I loosen it up. And as you can see, that's not ready yet. Okay, looks like I'm having some challenges with the video. We're going to plant the rosemary. I've got a couple more rosemaries. That one's not ready. That one is, so plant that one. And I'm going to plant a little bit of cilantro in there with those. So we've got our accent plants and the greens, or complementary plants in that one as well. And since the video is having some issues, we're going to stop. All right. Thank you. And I'm glad you joined me today. So the flat that I bought at the cell tray, never did soak up that day. So I had to take that outside and let that soak up before I could plant that. But that happens, and we just have some patience and keep going with what we're doing. So, at any rate, thank you for joining me, and that's how it all comes together. And come play in the dirt with me. So, have a good day, and thank you.